What's going on, everyone? Sky here. Welcome back to the channel. So we're back to recap episode 2 of Joan Basso's journey on the Golden Bachelorette. It was a really good and emotional episode 1 of the Golden Bachelorette, so I'm interested. I know it's going to be an emotional journey all season long for Joan on this journey. Great group of guys as well so far. But let's just jump into the episode. But first, before we do that, if you could just hit that like and subscribe button down there for more Golden Bachelorette content. Bachelor content, Bachelorette content in general on the channel, and there's also a bunch of other stuff on the channel as well, so hit that subscribe button to stay up to date with all that on the channel. So the opening scene, we see Mark asking in German, "Can I kiss you?" And Joan's like, "You could have asked that sooner." And we get a Mark kiss to open the episode, ladies and gentlemen. The stud Mark kicking off the episode right. We jump back before that. The guys toasting to Joan the morning after the rose ceremony in the mansion. Everyone admiring the property is still hilarious to me. Some of the guys getting the top bunks. Like, come on, guys. Couldn't we at least get some rollaway cots or mattresses for these guys, not having to climb up on the second level of a bunk bed? Pascal is freaking out about not having a big enough closet for his clothes, and he hasn't done his laundry apparently in 40 years. Offering money to people to help him out, doing his laundry here, fold everything. So Jesse comes in, there's going to be 2 group dates and a one-on-one date this week. The group date, Gary, Bob, Jonathan, Charles L., Mark, Jordan, Guy, and Keith. Says, I have a question for you. Go to the other room and find out what it is. Says, will you go to prom with me? So we're having a prom date. They get all the old school velvet, parsley suits with ruffles and flowers. The limo shows up with Joan and they head off to their, in their words, senior prom. They walk into the gym, bunch of people there cheering them on. Jesse's hosting, says there'll be some dancing, some drinking, because let's be honest, you were probably doing that at your prom, and maybe a few smooches. And doing, of course, prom king, and obviously Joan will be the prom queen. Taylor Dane shows up to sing. Gary is the life of the party, leading the way, dancing. Then everyone else gets in on the dancing. Guy steals Joan to the photo booth. Mark pouring some interesting liquid from a flask into the punch bowl. That's right, Mark. They had pictures from everyone when they were younger, around their prom or at their prom. Jonathan shares how he wasn't able to go to the prom at the school he went to. Jordan apparently went on a date with Taylor Dane not long ago. Gary is apparently Tina Turner's godson. Charles L. was sitting off to the side by himself. Joan takes him to the library to talk, and he opens up about his wife passing away 6 years ago. Only ever dated his wife, and same for his wife. His wife had only ever dated him. And he said today was the happiest day since his wife passed away. He calls his daughter to tell her that he went to prom today, and she said she wants to see him dance. He busts a little move on the dance floor and was tearing up at this point already. I think he's a really great, sweet guy. Chuck, back at the mansion, gets the one-on-one date, but we jump back to prom. Prom king is Jonathan. He gets the group date rose as well. Share a little kiss as well. And they have a nice dance on the dance floor, just them as well. Seems like no one slept well the next morning, though, with the snoring and other, I'm assuming, sleeping, living situations, living with other people. I know some of them said at, this age in their life isn't ideal. Pascal got Greg to do his laundry. So it's time for Chuck's one-on-one. Card said, meet me at the happiest place on earth. Of course, it's got to be Disneyland, right? Joan shows up on the train. They put their Mickey ears on and get going through the park. They walk around the park, getting to know each other. They got on the Dumbo ride, get some churros, head to the Star Wars area. R2-D2 shows up. Good, fun date, and Joan seems to get what she was looking out of it. She was looking to see if he had that fun side to him, and seemed to be good for her, and got what she needed out of this portion of the date. At the night portion, they have a nice dinner all dolled up. Joan in the baby blue, Cinderella-like dress, and Chuck in a nice tuxedo. Chuck tells Joan about his life to this point and how his wife had passed away after she got sick, and his wife said for him to have someone in his life and get back out there, and Joan shares a similar story about her husband, and that he said, for her to get out there and have someone in her life as well. Chuck tells Joan that she reminds him of his wife. Chuck gets the rose at the end of the dinner portion of the one-on-one date. They go out for the fireworks show, and A Dream is a Wish Your Heart Make is playing in the background. They share a kiss as well under the fireworks. Nice first one-on-one date for Joan on this journey. In the morning, Kim is trying to fix the garbage disposal. The group date card comes, and they are invited, the remaining guys are invited to the second annual Golden Talent Showcase. Kim says that he actually came up with a song, in case there was a talent show. Joan obviously went through this on her season and had a talent show when she was on Gary's season of The Golden Bachelor. Lonnie Love shows up to guest judge. The winner of the talent show gets a romantic one-on-one dinner with Joan later that night. Greg is up first, does a few jokes, goes over well, kicks off the talent show right. Charles K punches a board and punches straight through into Greg's stomach. Christopher does a little yo-yo trick about taking her around the world. Michael has a little poem for Joan. Jack does a sock puppet show, which was very interesting and hilarious. Pascal does his hairstyling, speed cutting, a wig mannequin thing. Kim sings his song, which was very, very sweet song by Kim. And they actually share a little kiss after, it looked like. Dan goes up. He is very nervous with his tremors, and rightfully so. I would be terrified as well, getting up on stage like that. Does a little rhythm dance, and he jokes that, well, with my tremors, this was actually perfect. And his vulnerability was awesome. And as Christopher says, just being your authentic self as he was. Dan gets the winner of the showcase. Kim is happy for Dan, but does look a little sad as he didn't get that extra time, obviously putting himself out there. Everyone put themselves out there and being vulnerable and, just trying to get himself to love someone again. So obviously was a little upset, but happy for Dan overall. Joan and Dan open up at the dinner portion of the date and about some health issues that Dan had. And as Joan says, as you get older, we're all bound to have health issues, and glad it seems like Dan is better now and just says everything's more meaningful now and enjoys life more. Dan gets the rose at the end of the date, and they share a kiss as the violins come in and they start to dance. So, nice group date for Joan and Dan and the rest of the guys as well. Joan said she felt comfortable in his arms as well and said she'll look at him completely differently tomorrow when she sees him with all the guys. Guys are preparing food for a barbecue on the pool deck instead of having a regular cocktail party. I like this a lot. I think this is a lot better, me personally, but Jack has lots of opinions on how the burgers are being done. I mean, he is a chef, but everyone grills differently, I guess, but they enjoy some food, some cornhole, are able to talk. Like I said, I like this spin-off of the cocktail party. I feel like this is a casual, good time, easier way for everyone to get to spend time and get to know Joan. Jack talks to Joan and then he cannonballs right in the pool. Pascal shows her his very OCD, neat closet. Gary talks about wanting to stay involved with his grandkids, like coaching their youth sports and such. Joan heads off for a minute and comes back with a framed picture of them from prom. Kim shows Joan some family pictures and how his wife had wrote a letter for their granddaughter before she passed and that he gave it to her in a frame and that she's 8 now and can read it, and very sweet. And again, just more tears. Like I said, we're going to be crying this whole season. Mark tells Joan how he spent some of his time in the army overseas in Germany, and so he gives her some phrases to see in German to see if she can guess what he's saying. Had a few softballs, but then the last one is, "Can I kiss you?" Joan says, "You should have asked sooner." And they share a nice kiss there on the front steps, it looks like. All right, Mark, that was pretty smooth, but we transition into the rose ceremony now. Unfortunately, Bob, Christopher, Jack, and Michael do go home. Jack is like, "I'm good. I did my cannonballs in the pool, had a couple of cocktails today," and sings on his way out, "I did it my way," what he sang when he came in his limo entrance. Christopher joins him for a little duet there for a second. For the next week's episode, it looks like we get the guys playing kickball, and I just hope no one hurts himself, please. Looks like Pascal gets the one-on-one date, possibly a trip to Vegas for them. Joan tells the guys how she keeps being asked if she's 100% ready to have love in her life again and doesn't know if she is ready. And then it seems like next week, Gary shows up asking if Joan is sure that her guy is here. Should be very interesting. We'll be back next week to recap everything from next week's episode of The Golden Bachelorette. But anyway, that'll do it for this one. Thank you all so much for watching. We'll see you in the next one. Peace out.